Let's talk about 4 types of sentences in English. Don't worry, I'll explain them in a simple, friendly way, so they're easy to understand and remember. Let's start with simple sentences. A simple sentence has one independent clause. It expresses one complete thought, but here's something important. A simple sentence can have more than one subject, or more than one verb. What matters is that it has only one independent clause. There are 4 common patterns: SV, SSV, SVV, and SSVV. First, SV means subject plus verb. For example, she laughs. She is the subject, and laughs is the verb. There is one subject and one verb. Next, we have SSV, which means subject plus verb. For example, Tom and Jane study. Here, Tom and Jane are 2 subjects, and study is the verb. Even though there are 2 subjects, this is still a simple sentence, because there is only one independent clause. Then we have SVV, which means subject plus verb. For example, they eat and talk. They is the subject, while eat and talk are 2 verbs. Again, it is still a simple sentence, because we have only one independent clause. Finally, we have SSVV, which means subject plus verb. For example, Tom and Jane sing and dance. Tom and Jane are the 2 subjects, and sing and dance are the 2 verbs. So remember, a simple sentence can have more than one subject, or more than one verb, but it still has only one independent clause. Now let's move on to number 2, compound sentences. A compound sentence has 2 or more independent clauses. Basically, we take 2 complete ideas and connect them together. One common way to connect independent clauses is with fanboys. Fanboys stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. For example, I wanted to go for a run, but it started to rain. We have 2 independent clauses here. I wanted to go for a run is one complete idea, and it started to rain is another complete idea. They are connected by but. We can also use a conjunctive adverb. Common conjunctive adverbs include however, therefore, moreover, nevertheless, meanwhile, otherwise, and consequently. For example, it was late, therefore, we decided to go home. Notice that we use a semicolon before therefore, and a comma after it. So the main idea is, compound sentence equals 2 or more independent clauses. Now let's look at number 3, complex sentences. A complex sentence has one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. There are 3 important types of dependent clauses that we need to know: noun clauses, adjective clauses, and adverb clauses. First, we have a noun clause. A noun clause acts like a noun. It can function as a subject, object, or complement. For example, I believe that taking breaks helps students learn better. The part that taking breaks helps students learn better is a noun clause because it functions as the object of believe. Next, we have an adjective clause. An adjective clause gives us more information about a noun. For example, the students who practice every day improve quickly. The clause who practice every day gives us more information about the students, so it is an adjective clause. Finally, we have an adverb clause. An adverb clause gives us information about things like when, why, where, how, or under what conditions something happens. For example, I stayed inside because it was raining. The clause, because it was raining, tells us why I stayed inside. So it is an adverb clause. Here's an easy way to remember the 3. A noun clause acts like a noun. An adjective clause describes or gives more information about a noun. An adverb clause tells us information such as when, why, where, or under what conditions something happens. Finally, we have number 4, compound complex sentences. The name sounds complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. A compound complex sentence has 2 or more independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. So it combines the features of a compound sentence and a complex sentence. For example, I wanted to go to the concert, but my friends couldn't come because they had to study, so I went alone when I had free time. Let's break it down. I wanted to go to the concert is an independent clause. My friends couldn't come is another independent clause. Because they had to study is a dependent adverb clause. Because it explains why my friends couldn't come. And I went alone is another independent clause. Finally, when I had free time is another dependent adverb clause because it tells us when I went alone. So we have multiple independent clauses plus dependent clauses. That makes it a compound complex sentence. Let's quickly review the 4 types. Simple sentence. one independent clause. And remember, it can have more than one subject or more than one verb. Compound sentence. Two or more independent clauses, usually connected with fanboys or a conjunctive adverb. Complex sentence. One independent clause plus at least one dependent clause. The dependent clause can be a noun clause, adjective clause, or adverb clause. And compound complex sentence. Two or more independent clauses plus at least one dependent clause. So here's my easy trick for remembering everything. Simple equals one independent clause. Compound equals two or more independent clauses. Complex equals one independent clause plus one or more dependent clauses. Compound complex equals two or more independent clauses plus one or more dependent clauses. Once you understand the difference between independent and dependent clauses, these four sentence types become much easier. And honestly, learning these structures can really help your writing. You can use simple sentences when you want to be clear and direct. Compound sentences when you want to connect equal ideas. Complex sentences when you want to show relationships between ideas. And compound complex sentences when you want to express more detailed and connected thoughts. So next time you write a paragraph or an essay, take a look at your sentences and ask yourself, what type of sentence am I using? That's it. Once you understand the four types, sentence structure becomes much easier, and your writing can become clearer, more varied, and more interesting.